3, 4 times I asked him, George, how are you going to beat Moore? He's a southpaw. He's a mover. He has great feet. Holyfield couldn't find him, and Holyfield was much faster than you. And every time I said it, George would fix me with that implacable George Foreman gaze and say, Jim, you watch. There will come a moment late in the fight. He will come and stand in front of me and let me knock him out. Always the same words. Wow. He will come and stand in front of me and let me knock him out.
Wow.
So now as Moore is on the canvas, and Joe Cortez is 6, 7, 8, and I'm thinking, what am I going to say about this? How in the world do you establish this without being self-glorifying? You know, I've got to say something that's meaningful, but I want it to be about him.
Yeah.
And I thought about what he had said to me. And what came out spontaneously was, it happened. It happened.
Yeah.
It's really me talking to George, saying to him, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
You told me it was going to happen, and it happened.
Well, do you remember when George came back and he was 300 pounds and everybody was laughing at him? And he was in his late 30s, I believe. Was he 34, 35?
Something like that.
When he made his comeback, he hadn't fought in 10 years. Everyone dismissed him. Like, what is he doing? He was very overweight.
And he started the Bum of the Month tour.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, and that's not a fair way to say it. They weren't bums, but they were people that he knew he could beat.
Yes.
To build a dossier toward what he really wanted.
And get in shape.
Yep.
And no one believed in him. No one. I remember me, as a boxing fan, watching that comeback, being sad. Like, oh, George Foreman's coming back, and he's all fat now. This is sad.
Well, I'm sure you've known a lot of people like this, Joe. You want to see George do something? Tell him he can't do it.
Right, right.
Challenge his will, you know, because he's a self-constructed person. You're talking about a guy who, as a teenager, 17 or 18 years old, says to himself, I want to get out of the 5th Ward of Houston. I don't want this life as a gangster or a laborer or whatever I'm going to get by living in the 5th Ward of Houston. I want something else. So he goes to the Job Corps in Hayward, California, and enrolls in the Job Corps. And that's where he learned to box. That's what set him up a year and a half later to win his Olympic gold medal in Mexico City. And then go on to his storied professional boxing career. But, you know, he was, in his own mind, proving he could do something that other people didn't think he could do, even at that point. He told me that when he first got to Hayward, he befriended one of the other people in the Job Corps who was a white kid. And he said, you know, they're talking about things that they like, and the guy talks about Bob Dylan, how much he likes Bob Dylan. So George got the first 2 or 3 Bob Dylan albums and listened, wanted to hear what this is all about, and absorbed the lyrics and paid attention. And when George told me this story, I said, George, you, Bob Dylan, you know, how am I supposed to process all this? And he began quoting lyrics for me.
Wow.
Okay? From Blowin' in the Wind, from Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, et cetera, from early Bob Dylan songs. Yes, he knew about Hurricane. Yes. So he was just an amazing person, you know, so broad-based, you know, and that was, I think that was part of what burned in him, was that everybody, myself included, gave Ali credit for all that. And George wanted, in his own way, for people to see, hey, I'm not that different than that, you know? And I mean, one thing he said to me was, you can't win the heavyweight championship of the world without being smart, okay? A stupid person couldn't do this, you know?
It's true.
Yeah. So he respected Moore's intelligence, but he also understood something that I didn't understand. He'll come and stand in front of me late in the fight and let me knock him out.
crazy that he predicted it that way because that's exactly how it played
Oh
out.
yeah, go to YouTube.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it,
I've seen it.
it's uncanny. It
Well,
really
I was a
is.
giant Michael Moore fan when he was a light heavyweight. And I think a lot of people forgot how dangerous he was at light heavyweight. He was one of the great light heavyweights.
No question, because of
Terrifying.
the southpaw punching power. You know, you
Power
don't.
at light heavyweight
I don't
was
know if it's true in
extraordinary.
UFC as it is in boxing, but you don't see southpaw punchers very often. Southpaws are technical. They box. They take advantage of their foot skills and their hand speed, and they beat you with boxing skills. You're not often going to run into a southpaw who's going to knock you out. But we've already talked about Tarver, and Moorer was another one who had punching power. And it's, kind of Cooney. Cooney was a southpaw with punching
Right.
power. It's kind of doubly effective if you've got that, because you're worried about the technical issues with a southpaw, and now he brings a cannon.
Right, right. Yeah, the southpaw thing was always so confusing to people because if you ever boxed before, you're so accustomed to that left hand being forward.
Right.
And then all of a sudden everything's reversed, and now you're thinking.
Right.
And if you don't have a lot of southpaws that you train with on a regular basis, things aren't automatic anymore.
And one of the things that George used to talk to me about all the time was angles. That, you're standing in front of another man, you're confronting him, you're trying to deliver and stop delivery. Angles.
Right.
It's all about where does it come from and where is it going,
Right.
and how can I deal with that. Now,
Yes.
I was never a fighter, so I can't empathize, but I can sympathize when I listen to that kind
Well, you
of thing.
can see it, right?